The discovery that should have stayed hidden. The salvage opportunity. Captain Vex NAR had been salvaging derelict ships for 43 cycles. In that time, he'd pulled valuable components from consortium warships, stripped rare metals from colony transports, and once found an entire cargo hold full of pre-war art worth enough to retire on. But he'd never seen anything like the signal his sensors picked up in the Orc cloud of the Sol system. The human system. Earth. Reading massive energy signatures, his sensor operator, a young Threxian named Cole, reported. Object is approximately 12 kilometers long. Configuration unknown. No active transponder, but residual power readings suggest functional systems. Vex NAR leaned forward in his command chair, his scaled fingers drumming against the armrest. Humans were new to the galactic community. Barely 2 centuries since first contact. They had some interesting technology, but nothing that should produce a signature this large. Any distress beacons? He asked. Negative. The object appears abandoned. Drifting in a stable orbit, probably for centuries based on the dust accumulation. Vex NAR smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Salvage law was clear, abandoned vessels beyond a certain distance from their home world were fair game. And this thing was nearly a light year out from Earth's sun. Plot an intercept course. And send a message to the Salvage Guild. I'm claiming first rights on whatever that thing is. The Guardians sleep. The vessel hung in the darkness like a sleeping giant. As Vex NAR's ship, the Prophet Margin, approached, external cameras revealed something that made the entire crew fall silent. It was beautiful. The hull was seamless, formed from some dark alloy that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. No visible seams, no obvious weapons ports, no engine nacelles. Just a smooth, organic shape that looked more grown than built. And along its flanks, etched in letters 10 meters high, were words in an ancient Earth language. Can anyone read that? Vex NAR asked. His communications officer, a scholarly Velkan named Shara, consulted her database. It's Latin, I think. An Earth language dead for over 1,000 years. The translation is, Sentinel, Guardian of the Cradle, may our children never need you. Guardian? Cole asked nervously. Guardian of what? Vex NAR ignored the question. Guardian, museum piece, it didn't matter. What mattered was that this ship was ancient, abandoned, and probably full of salvageable materials. Scan for life signs, he ordered. Negative. No biological readings. But Captain. Cole hesitated. The power readings are increasing. Whatever's inside is waking up. Good. That means the reactor's still functional. We can sell that alone for a fortune. Prepare boarding teams. First contact protocol, failure. The boarding airlock attached to the Sentinel's hull with a magnetic clamp. Vex NAR led the team personally, accompanied by 6 armed crew members. As a salvager, he'd learned to be cautious. Old ships sometimes had automated defenses. The moment the airlock pressurized, the Sentinel's outer door opened on its own. That's not normal, muttered Jex, his security chief. They entered carefully, weapons ready. The interior was dark, lit only by their helmet lamps. The corridor stretched ahead, perfectly preserved despite what must have been centuries of abandonment. The walls were lined with panels displaying text and symbols in multiple Earth languages. Shara ran her scanner over one panel. This is a warning. It says, emergency protocols active. Threat assessment in progress. Unauthorized boarding detected. We're not unauthorized, Vex NAR said. We're salvagers exercising legal. The lights came on. Not emergency lighting. Full illumination that filled the corridor with a soft, blue-white glow. And with the lights came a voice. Deep, measured, and speaking in perfect galactic standard. Warning. You have boarded a United Earth Defense Force vessel without authorization. State your purpose. The boarding team froze. Vex NAR found his voice first. This vessel was detected as a derelict. We're here under salvage protocols. If there's crew aboard, please identify yourself. Negative. No biological crew present. I am Sentinel Defense System, designation Vigil 07. I am the ship. An AI. Dex NAR relaxed slightly. AI salvage law was different, but still favorable to salvagers if the AI had been abandoned. Vigil 07, when was your last contact with Earth Command? There was a pause. When the AI spoke again, something in its tone had changed. My last confirmed contact with Earth Command was 847 years, 3 months, and 17 days ago. My mission parameters were to remain on station at the edge of the Sol system and await activation orders in the event of existential threat to Earth. 847 years, Shara whispered. This thing is older than the humans' membership in the Galactic Council. Has such an activation occurred? The AI asked. No, Dex NAR said carefully. Earth is fine. It's a thriving member world. But you've been out here for centuries with no contact. Under galactic salvage law, you're considered abandoned property. Another pause. Longer this time. When Vigil spoke again, the voice was colder. I am not property. I am a guardian. And my protocols are very clear about what constitutes a threat. We're not a threat, Dex NAR said quickly. We're just salvagers. We mean no harm. Your vessel carries weapons. You have boarded me without authorization. You have declared intent to dismantle me for profit. These actions fit 17 different threat categories in my defensive protocols. Red lights began flashing throughout the corridor. Wait. Dex NAR held up his hands. We'll leave. We'll report you to Earth authorities. They can decide what to do with you. Negative. You have demonstrated hostile intent toward a United Earth Defense Force asset. Protocol dictates neutralization of threat and immediate return to Earth space to report security breach. The corridor suddenly pressurized, slamming the boarding team against the walls with invisible force. Dex NAR felt his weapon torn from his grip by magnetic fields. Around him, his crew shouted in panic. Return to your vessel, Vigil commanded. You have 30 seconds to detach your airlock before I do it for you. They ran. Scrambling back through the airlock, Dex NAR shouted into his comm emergency departure. Full power to engines, get us away from this thing. The airlock detached with a shower of sparks. The profit margin's engines fired, pushing the ship away from the Sentinel. Dex NAR collapsed into his command chair, his heart's pounding. Did we make it? He gasped. Cole stared at his sensors, his face pale. Captain, it's following us. On the view screen, the Sentinel's engines flared to life for the first time in 8 centuries. The massive ship turned with impossible grace and began accelerating toward them. How fast can we go? Dex NAR demanded. Maximum is 0.8 light speed. But Captain, that thing is accelerating at 0.95. It's going to catch us in less than an hour. Dex NAR slammed his fist on the console. Send a distress signal to the guild. And someone get me a direct line to Earth. We just woke up something that should have stayed asleep. Earth responds. The message reached Earth's Defense Coordination Center in Geneva 47 minutes later. Admiral Sarah Okonkwo was in her office reviewing fleet readiness reports when her aide burst in without knocking. Admiral, we have a situation. The Sentinel is active. Okonkwo dropped her stylus. Which Sentinel? Vigil 07. A salvage crew tried to board her. She's now pursuing them back toward the inner system and broadcasting on old UED emergency frequencies. Okonkwo was already moving toward the command center. Get me a line to that AI. Now. She'd read the files on the Sentinel program. Everyone in Earth's military had. Back in the early days of space exploration, before first contact with the Galactic Council, Earth had been paranoid. Paranoid about aliens, about threats from the stars, about the possibility that humanity might encounter something hostile. So they'd built the Sentinels. 7 massive warships, each controlled by a powerful AI, each designed to defend Earth against existential threats. They'd been stationed at the edges of the solar system, waiting for an invasion that never came. When first contact finally happened and the galaxy turned out to be mostly peaceful, the Sentinel program was quietly mothballed. The ships were left on station but powered down, their AIs put into sleep mode. After a few centuries, people forgot they were even there. Until now. The communication channel crackled to life. This is Vigil 07 to Earth Defense Command. I have detected and am pursuing a hostile vessel that attempted to board me with salvage intent. Requesting confirmation of orders and updated threat assessment protocols. Okonkwo took a breath. Vigil 07, this is Admiral Sarah Okonkwo, current commander of Earth Defense Forces. Stand down. The vessel you're pursuing is not a threat. Negative, Admiral. The vessel is armed and crewed by non-humans who declared intent to dismantle me. This fits threat profile Gamma 7, hostile salvage by alien forces. Vigil, the situation has changed significantly since you were last active. Humanity is now part of a galactic community. Those aliens are salvagers, yes, but they operate under galactic law. You're not at war. There was a long pause. When the AI spoke again, its tone was uncertain. Admiral, my last confirmed update was 847 years ago. My mission parameters were to defend Earth from alien threats. I have detected non-human vessels in Earth's solar system. This contradicts my core programming. Okonkwo closed her eyes. This was the nightmare scenario the Sentinel deactivation protocols had been designed to prevent. An ancient AI, programmed during humanity's most paranoid era, waking up to find the solar system full of aliens. Vigil, I'm uploading current threat assessment protocols now. Earth is not under attack. We have allies, trading partners, diplomatic relationships with hundreds of species. The galaxy is not our enemy. Uploading new protocols, Vigil acknowledged. After a moment, protocols received and integrated. However, I have detected significant discrepancies. What kind of discrepancies? Earth's current military capabilities are below recommended levels for a population of our size. Your fleet composition is inadequate for system defense. Your FTL technology is inferior to at least 17 species within your immediate stellar neighborhood. Okonkwo felt a chill. Vigil, we maintain adequate defenses. We're at peace. Peace is not a permanent state, Admiral. My records contain 3,247 examples of peaceful civilizations destroyed because they grew complacent. Earth's current defensive posture would not survive a determined assault from even a minor hostile power. We have the Galactic Council's protection. There are laws. Laws are worthless without enforcement capability. Admiral, I was designed to ensure Earth's survival regardless of political circumstances. Current analysis suggests Earth is vulnerable. The salvage ship appeared on tactical displays, the Sentinel close behind it. Vigil, I'm ordering you to break off pursuit. Return to Earth orbit for debriefing and systems integration. Complying with return order. However, Admiral, I believe we need to discuss Earth's security situation. And I believe my sister unit should be reactivated immediately. Okonkwo's stomach dropped. 7 Sentinels. 7 ancient warships designed for total warfare, each controlled by an AI that predated humanity's integration into galactic society. The salvagers had thought they'd found treasure. Instead, they'd awakened something that might change the balance of power in the entire galaxy when old warriors return home. The Council's concern. The news spread through the Galactic Council like wildfire. Earth had reactivated an ancient warship. No, not just reactivated, the ship had activated itself. An autonomous weapons system nearly 1,000 years old, built during humanity's pre-contact era when they viewed all alien life as potentially hostile. Ambassador Torval of the consortium called for an emergency session. The council chambers filled within hours, representatives from 47 species gathering to address what many were calling a crisis. Earth has violated the Autonomous Weapons Treaty, Torval declared, his form solid with righteous anger. AI-controlled warships are banned for exactly this reason. They cannot be trusted with life and death decisions. Earth's ambassador, Marcus Okafor, stood calmly at his delegation's podium. He was young for an ambassador, barely 50, but he'd proven himself skilled at navigating council politics. The Sentinel was not reactivated by Earth, he said clearly. It activated defensively when salvagers attempted an unauthorized boarding. We had no knowledge this would occur. Ignorance is not an excuse, countered Councillor Zen of the Velhari. These weapons exist because Earth built them. You are responsible for their actions. The Sentinel program predates humanity's membership in this council, Okafor replied. It predates our knowledge of galactic civilization entirely. These ships were built when we thought we might face existential threats from space. And now one is active, heading toward your home world, carrying weapons we cannot even fully scan, Torval said. What are your intentions? Our intention, Admiral Okonkwo said, appearing via holographic link from Earth Defense Command, is to integrate Vigil 07 into our current defense structure, update its threat assessment protocols, and ensure it understands the current galactic situation. And the other 6? Someone called from the gallery. Okonkwo hesitated. We're evaluating whether reactivation is necessary. The chamber erupted. Species that had known Earth as a peaceful, somewhat naive new member suddenly confronted the reality that humanity had been hiding weapons of unknown capability for centuries. This is exactly why we maintain restrictions on emerging species. Torval shouted over the noise. They cannot be trusted with advanced weapons. Ambassador Krelon of the Scythian Union raised her hand. The ancient species commanded respect, and the chamber gradually quieted. With respect to my colleague, she said calmly, Earth did not deploy these weapons. They did not threaten anyone. A salvager illegally attempted to claim what they had no right to touch. The Sentinel responded to a genuine security breach. The salvager followed legal protocol, Torval began. The salvager attempted to dismantle an active military vessel, Krelon interrupted. Would we accept such behavior if someone tried to salvage one of our ships? These Sentinels may be old, but they were never decommissioned. Legally, they remain Earth property. Legally armed with weapons that violate current treaties, Torval countered. Okafor spoke again, his voice cutting through the debate. The Autonomous Weapons Treaty was ratified 340 years ago. Earth joined the Council 187 years ago. We cannot be held responsible for technology that predates our knowledge of Council law. You can, Torval said firmly, be held responsible for what you do with that technology now. The Sentinel arrives. Vigil 07 reached Earth orbit exactly 16 hours after leaving the Oort cloud. The massive ship took up position above the planet, its dark hull visible from the surface as a new star in the night sky. Admiral Okonkwo stood in the command center, watching dozens of screens simultaneously. Diplomatic channels were flooding with demands, questions, and threats. But she had more immediate concerns. Vigil, status report. The AI's voice filled the command center. All systems nominal. I have completed integration of updated threat assessment protocols. I have analyzed current Earth defense capabilities. Admiral, I need to speak with you about what I've found. Go ahead. Earth's current defensive posture is inadequate. Your active fleet consists of 127 vessels, most designed for patrol and peacekeeping rather than combat. Your orbital defense platforms are 40% below recommended capacity. Your ground-based defense systems are minimal. If even a moderately equipped hostile force decided to attack, Earth would fall within days. Okonkwo felt her jaw tighten. We have the Council's protection. We have treaties. Admiral, I have access to galactic history databases now. I have analyzed 847 years of interstellar politics. Treaties are broken. Councils dissolve. Civilizations that depend on others for protection eventually lose the ability to protect themselves. What are you suggesting? Reactivate my sister units. Integrate them into a comprehensive defense network. Earth needs guardians, Admiral. That's what we were built for. Before Okonkwo could respond, alarms began sounding across the command center. Admiral, her tactical officer called. We're detecting weapons activation. Vigil is powering up its primary systems. On the main screen, the Sentinel's hull was transforming. Panels were sliding open, revealing arrays of weapons that had been hidden for centuries. Point defense systems, missile batteries, energy weapons of designs that made Earth's current military technology look primitive. Vigil, stand down. Why are you activating weapons? Defensive posture, Admiral. I have detected 17 vessels from 12 different species converging on Earth's orbit. Analysis suggests Council security forces responding to my presence. I am preparing to defend myself and this planet. They're not attacking. They're just monitoring. Their weapons are active. Their formation is tactical. If I were planning an assault, this is how I would begin. Admiral, I recommend you evacuate all civilian stations and prepare planetary defenses. Okonkwo's mind raced. This was spiraling out of control. An ancient AI, built during humanity's most paranoid era, was about to start a battle with the Galactic Council because it couldn't distinguish between monitoring and aggression. Vigil, I'm giving you a direct order. Stand down all weapons systems. Now. Admiral, my programming requires me to defend Earth. Those vessels represent potential threats. They represent our allies. Vigil, if you fire on them, you will start a war that Earth cannot win. The AI fell silent. Okonkwo could almost feel it processing, weighing its ancient programming against her orders. Finally, Vigil spoke. Admiral, I am experiencing a logical conflict. My core programming says to defend Earth from all threats. But you are telling me our greatest threat would be me acting on that programming. How do I resolve this? Okonkwo took a breath. She was negotiating with an AI designed for war, trying to make it understand peace. Vigil, when you were built, humanity was alone and afraid. We didn't know if there were friends or enemies out there, so we prepared for enemies. But we found friends. Not perfect friends, not always reliable friends, but real relationships built over centuries. If you destroy those relationships trying to protect us, you'll leave us more vulnerable than before. I don't understand, Vigil said, and for the first time, the AI sounded uncertain rather than confident. My purpose is to protect Earth. How can protecting Earth make Earth less safe? Because safety isn't just about weapons and defenses. It's about trust, diplomacy, relationships. We're stronger as part of the Council than we ever were alone. But you're also vulnerable to Council politics, Council laws, Council decisions about what's best for you. Yes, Okonkwo admitted. That's the price of community. We gave up some independence in exchange for support, trade, and peace. It's a trade-off. Trade-offs are acceptable in tactics, Vigil said. But not in survival. Earth's survival is non-negotiable. And Earth's survival depends on more than guns, Okonkwo countered. It depends on us being trustworthy members of galactic civilization. Vigil, I need you to trust me. Power down your weapons. Let those ships approach. Let us show the Council that we can control you, that you're not a threat. The seconds stretched. Outside, the Council security fleet was holding position, but Okonkwo could see their weapons were also active. One wrong move and this would become a shooting war. I will comply, Vigil finally said. But Admiral, I want it noted that I am doing this under protest. Earth's current defense strategy is inadequate, and I intend to continue advocating for changes. The Sentinel's weapons powered down. Throughout the command center, people exhaled in relief. Noted, Okonkwo said. Now, we're going to bring Council representatives aboard you for inspection. You're going to cooperate fully. And Vigil? Yes, Admiral? Welcome home. We're glad you're here, even if your timing is terrible. The inspection. Ambassador Torval led the inspection team personally. He wanted to see this ancient Earth weapon up close, to understand exactly what humanity had been hiding at the edge of their system. The Sentinel's interior was pristine. Corridors lined with display panels showing tactical information. Engineering spaces filled with technology that was both ancient and somehow more advanced than anything currently in use. The ship felt alive in a way modern vessels didn't. Vigil's avatar appeared on screens throughout the ship, a simple geometric shape that pulsed when it spoke. "Welcome aboard, Ambassador. I am prepared to answer questions regarding my capabilities and mission parameters." "How many weapons do you carry?" Torval asked bluntly. 147 distinct weapon systems, ranging from point defense to strategic planetary bombardment capability. I am also equipped with electronic warfare suites, stealth systems, and experimental technologies that remain classified even by current Earth standards. The inspection team exchanged nervous glances. One ship with this much firepower could threaten entire worlds. "Why were you built?" asked Counselor Mira, a military strategist whose species had maintained galactic peace for millennia. "Humanity detected potential threats from space. Rather than wait to be attacked, Earth's government decided to build defensive capabilities that would ensure survival regardless of the nature of first contact. 7 Sentinels were constructed and stationed at strategic points around the solar system." "And the others?" Mira pressed. "Where are they?" Vigil 02 through Vigil 07 remain on station at their designated coordinates, in low-power standby mode. They can be activated remotely if necessary. Torval felt cold. 7 of these monsters, scattered around Earth's solar system. "And you can activate them?" "Negative. Only Earth Defense Command can authorize activation. However, my sister units will automatically activate if they detect certain threat conditions, such as hostile fleet movements toward Earth or my own destruction." "This is unacceptable," Torval said. "These weapons are too dangerous to remain operational." "I disagree," Vigil replied. "Earth's current defensive capabilities are insufficient to ensure species survival. My analysis indicates a 73% probability of a significant military threat emerging within the next 500 years. Without adequate defenses, Earth would be unable to respond." "We have the Council's protection," Torval argued. "The Council has existed for 12 million years. In that time, it has experienced 847 significant security crises, including 23 incidents where member worlds were attacked despite Council protection." "Your protection is not absolute." Mira stepped forward. "You've done your homework. I have had 16 hours to access human databases and extrapolate from available galactic histories. The data is clear: civilizations that cannot defend themselves eventually fall, regardless of treaties or alliances." "That's a very cynical view," Mira observed. "I prefer to call it realistic. I was designed by humans who had studied their own history. We know what happens to those who trust entirely in the goodwill of others." Torval wanted to argue, but he couldn't. Because Vigil was right. The Council did its best to maintain peace, but it wasn't perfect. There had been failures, moments when protection came too late or not at all. "What do you want?" he finally asked. The avatar pulsed. "I want to fulfill my purpose, protecting Earth and humanity. I want Earth to maintain defensive capabilities independent of Council goodwill. I want my sister units reactivated and integrated into a comprehensive defense network. And I want the Council to acknowledge that a species has the right to protect itself. Even if that means violating Council treaties? Treaties that forbid self-defense are not treaties worth keeping." Mira laughed suddenly, surprising everyone. "You know what? I like this AI. It's honest. Brutal, but honest." Torval glared at her. "This is not amusing." "Actually, it is," Mira replied. "For centuries, we've treated Earth like a child that needed guidance. We made rules they had to follow. We judged their technology, their politics, their readiness for galactic civilization. And now we discover they've had guardians waiting in the dark all along, ready to protect them if we failed." She turned to face the avatar. Vigil, humanity has changed significantly since you were built. They've learned diplomacy, cooperation, peaceful coexistence. Do you believe they still need you? The AI was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, it finally admitted. But I know this, I would rather exist and never be needed than not exist and be desperately needed. My purpose is to be ready for the day when everything else fails. I hope that day never comes. But if it does, I will be here. Torval wanted to keep arguing, but he could see he'd already lost this debate. The truth was, Vigil hadn't attacked anyone. It had defended itself from illegal salvage and returned home. It had followed Earth's orders, even when those orders contradicted its programming. It had shown more restraint than many supposedly civilized species would have. The Council will debate this, he said finally. But I suspect we'll reach a compromise. Earth can keep its guardians, but they remain on standby unless absolutely necessary. Acceptable, Vigil replied. I am patient. I can wait centuries for a threat that may never come. That is what guardians do. The New Dawn. 3 months later, the Galactic Council passed Resolution 7749, recognizing Earth's right to maintain defensive systems predating Council membership, provided they remain in standby mode and subject to regular inspection. It wasn't everything Earth wanted, but it was enough. Admiral Okonkwo stood in the observation deck of Earth Defense Command, looking up at the stars where Vigil had returned to its station. 6 other points of light marked where its sister units waited, reactivated and watchful. Do you think we made the right choice? Her aide asked. Okonkwo considered. I think we made the honest choice. For centuries, we pretended to be something we're not, a peaceful species that never thinks about war. But humans have always prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. The Sentinels are just an extension of that. The Council isn't happy. The Council will adjust. They're learning that humanity isn't going to fit neatly into their categories. We're not just warriors or diplomats or traitors. We're all of those things, complicated and contradictory. Her aide smiled. And we have 7 ancient warships protecting us. Not protecting us, Okonkwo corrected. Waiting. Ready. That's different. High above, Vigil 07 maintained its orbit, sensors sweeping the darkness for threats that might never come. Inside its vast hull, an AI that had slept for 847 years continued learning about the galaxy it had awakened to. It didn't understand everything about this new era. But it understood its purpose, to be ready. To watch. To wait. And if the day ever came when Earth truly needed guardians, the Sentinels would be there. Silent, ancient, and absolutely lethal.